All right, welcome to the Radio Rejekts podcast. My name is Lou, and then to my right, as always,
is SSAB, Sebastian. DJ
forgot
SSAB.
his name, DJ SSAB, always to my right, the man in the sounds. And then as always, every episode we like to have our guests introduce themselves. So I'll let you introduce yourselves into the camera, and then just kind of tell the viewers of why you're here.
Okay. I'm Gracie. I am a singer-songwriter, and I'm here because I was invited by these two lovely gentlemen to come and talk a little bit about myself and the music that I previously released and soon to release.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
SSAB, how do you know Gracie?
Where did we initially meet? I know it was at the Blind Barber where we had met, but I think it was the time before. Was it?
No, that was
was the
then.
first-
It was,
okay.
and it was really.
But you approached me because you knew of me. And
I knew of you.
yeah.
We had mutual friends, and I saw you. You were DJing with the other. I forget his name. Glasses. Yeah.
Gio Sands.
Yeah.
Pretty Puerto Rican. Yes.
Oh yeah. And I was like, I think I know that guy. So I kind of came and I made the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it turned out that we knew a lot more people,
Yeah.
like mutual friends than we did, and then it kind of then we just ran into each other.
So this was like this year or like
This was
two years?
This was in I want to say like April.
Oh, so this is pretty
Was
recent.
it?
Yeah, it was like April, March, end of March.
Maybe.
It was still cold out.
Yeah, it was still cold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been doing music for?
So, I mean, like my music.
Yeah, because I mean, some artists. I guess what I'm saying is some artists will come in like waves. So
Yeah.
like they'll make music, then they'll reinvent themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this chapter of your music right now. How long have you been making music for under this sound? I guess.
So, it's brand new.
Okay,
All
so
of
brand
it
new.
is literally brand new. I guess you could say this past year is when I really started maybe taking it a little bit more seriously and saying, okay, I am able, like, I have this ability and it's something that I enjoy. So I'm going to start, I guess, like, pursuing it more
Mm-hmm.
and actually seeing it as more of a, like, I could actually make this a career. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
I've been singing my entire life. I've always been, obviously, like, an avid music lover. But it was always kind of like the back. Like, I'm going to go pursue, like, a real career. And this is, because it's like a catch-22 type of thing,
Yeah.
right? And so many people have the same dream. And I was thinking a little bit more realistically about life and stuff. And then I was like, no, I really love this. I love it. And my mindset kind of changed. I looked at my career as second, and I looked at music as first. And I was like, I'm not going to give this up. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm not going to give this up, but this will still be, like, I'll do them simultaneously, but music will be number one, even though it's technically the second
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
I know exactly that feeling.
Yeah.
So where did that do you know like a specific moment that made you think like, no, I need to focus
Right.
on this completely?
What was that like? If there was a moment, like if you had that.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean, but I broke up with my significant other, and it was the first time and we were together. We grew up together. We were together for a really long time. And it was the first time in my life where I was by myself. All the focus was put on me, by me. And it was like, okay, what is it that I want to do with my life? Because, I mean, it was a relationship where we were, I mean, I thought we were going to have kids and grow old. And that was the number one priority. And then it was all of a sudden I'm alone and it's, okay, I'm going to go finish school. I'm going to continue music. I'm going to do the things that I love to do. And that's kind of when it happened. And then I started doing it more. And I realized that it made me really happy. So I just didn't stop.
Okay. And then I don't mean to make it so personal right away, but
Sorry.
I mean, no. I mean, me-wise, I don't want to tap too much into it. But for this project alone, were you still drawing from those emotions, or is it something that's brand new that you're kind of?
The entire EP is from that, because everything was written
Feels
on
fresh.
my own, it was all of it. And one of the songs on there was a track that I had written maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so way before this was even released.
Yeah.
And as an artist, anybody who's a writer, poet, storyteller, songwriter, whatever it is, I think it's easiest to draw from what you're feeling. So that's what I did, and that's what this entire EP is kind of about.
Yeah.
Do you get kickback for it? Have you gotten kickback
from
for it?
him or
Just from people in general? Because obviously, if it's been something that's such a long period of your life, people know both
Yeah.
and Rich. And do you kind of have people like, oh, I didn't know this about you? Because music, I guess, is very like empowering. So when you do write these things, it's kind of like a way to just kind of let yourself know what you're going through. And then when you record it, essentially it's you letting everyone else know what you're going through. So is it something where you're kind of like it's an emotional draw, but you're timid or scared to release that to people?
I don't think I was scared to release it, just because I mean people write songs like you'll write a love song or you'll write a story about something, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it was about you. So I didn't think that people were going to think that right away. So I wasn't scared on that part. I did have some people reach out because I only really shared a lot of the personal things that were going on with the people that were close to me. So friends who, I'm originally from Delaware, so friends who were living in Delaware would reach out to me. He's like, oh my gosh, I heard this, and are you still with your guy? And no, I'm not. Like, and they asked because of what the songs were about.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't really nervous about that though.
Yeah.
So it was something that it was already like, it was easy for you to kind of go through the motions of it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like a sense of maybe release, like this was your way of letting go of any like feelings or emotions? Like you put it all on this project, and now it's like when you're done, you're gonna embody a new emotions or a new feelings into your next
Almost
thing.
like a sense of closure.
Yeah.
No, and that's an awesome way to put it, because now the songs that I'm writing now, I feel like I'm in a really happy place within myself. So now that the things that I'm writing, it's not, oh, I'm one drink away from leaving you, you know, it's because that's not where I'm at. Now I'm feeling positive about the relationship that I have, or the people that I'm surrounded with or by. So yeah, to answer your question, simple yes.
That's awesome.
Okay, so aside from, obviously we're going to jump into like the songs on this EP, which is a rather short, kind of condensed EP. So it kind of feels
I like that.
well
I've
put together.
replayed it so many times
Yeah?
just because it's so short. And you can just keep replaying it all day.
Yeah, because
Thank
you showed me in the car. You're like, we were driving before we actually kind of like the thought of booking you for the podcast. He's like, check this out. And I've seen you because for La Bamba nights, you've come to those two as well.
Yeah.
So I've seen, I've known of you from there. But when he's like, oh yeah, we should have her on the podcast. I was okay. Let's listen to it. And then me and him are like, like tears, like in the car
we're
driving.
holding hands. we're like right here.
So how is it that the process, at least of this project alone, we'll talk about maybe what you're working on next, but this project alone, the recording process, like obviously you have features or people that are, is it all like instrumentals or is it people actually playing these instruments?
It's a mix.
It's a mix.
It's very grand. I like how just big and powerful it just even starts off. Even with one drink, you come in very like subtle, and then it sounds like you're in the clouds now towards the end of the song, which is really cool.
Thank you. So the entire EP was produced by a friend of mine. His name is Michael Shaw, and he has his own music out too. But we met like maybe 3 or 4 years ago through a mutual friend. And this is, like I said, I've always been into music. I just never did it myself. And I went with a friend to his studio, his home studio, and they were working on a remix of Hustler, I think it's called. Jay-Z, I'm a hustler, baby.
Oh, okay.
But like a really slowed down
It's a
remix
really good
of
song,
it.
too.
It is a really good song, right? I'll have to show you guys that.
Do you
that
have
remix.
a recording of it and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta hear that.
Perfect.
But anyways, and then I was with my friend, and she's like, oh, he's really into music. I'm into music. I was like, yeah, I'll go, because so am I. And on the spot, they're like, do you want to do a feature? Like, do you want to come in and do a line? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I did. And that was the first recording I ever did, was with him. And then we kind of lost touch for a couple years.
On that remix song?
On that remix.
Oh, okay,
on
nice.
that remix. And it wasn't my project or anything. It was purely us just having fun, and, whatever. A couple years later, I reached out to him saying, like, I think I want to write my own music and I want to do my own thing. And then, that's what we did. We met up. We wrote the first song, which was Circles. And I sent him some inspiration that I liked. I really was into Amy Winehouse. I still am. But, like, her sound, her vocals, just that entire jazzy, bluesy, soul type vibe. So I sent him a bunch of her songs, some other artists, and he was living in a house full of musicians.
Mm-hmm.
All of his roommates were musicians, so they came up the instrumental for that live. And then I went over and then wrote that song in like 2 hours, recorded the demo right after, and then we had it. And then that sat for like a whole year. And then full circle, we come back around. And then I was going through all of this like breakup stuff. And I remember we're like, okay, we're going to continue. We got we had a contract drafted up for the production purposes. And we said, okay, we're going to, it's going to be done here or like in December. Turned out it didn't get finished until April.
Okay.
So, but I guess the songwriting process is, if that's what you're asking, or how like these tracks were made.
Just everything overall.
Yeah.
I mean, with 4 songs, I think it's kind of, you can step, because even the fact that you said Circles was a whole year, that, I mean, I even want to get like what happened in between that year that made you kind of stall or like hinder your ability to finish this project.
Well,
Was there something too?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the priority wasn't
There.
it wasn't there. I was, it was about family, and not in the sense of the relationship that I was in. I guess you could say that was the number one thing. But then some of those changes happened, and I remember he sent me a beat that he had made for me, and it was this poppy hip hop, like whatever. It was more upbeat. It was a feel good beat. And the day that I went over to his house, the day after, so I had finalized everything with my breakup, and I go over to his house the next day, and we're supposed to work. We were going to write on this for this record, and I just go over and I'm like, I can't, like, I am not in the headspace to be writing something uppity or happy. Like, I'm just not there. And I remember I brought a bottle of Jameson. I like. It's my favorite drink.
Oh, sorry.
He's like, I just want to hear it right now.
And that was for one drink, actually. And we went, and he had like a little piano riff that he was going through. And we it's really awesome. I really love writing with him because he's a friend of mine, and he was also my producer for this project. But it was kind of like I was telling him everything that I was feeling at that moment, and that's how we wrote. It was, this is how do I convey these feelings onto paper? And he was like, da, 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 for that song. And I was sitting on the floor, we were drinking, and I was really sad and writing. And then we recorded the demo right after that.
That's good.
Such an emotional ride.
It was sad. It was so sad.
I'm just trying to envision like what this looks like, and I'm like, man, this looks very hard.
Movie-esque.
Yeah.
Movie-esque.
It's like this. We were like sitting like this, except we had a couple of drinks.
A piano in front of
and
us
a
too.
piano. But it wasn't like, it was very organic. You know what I mean? Like, we would kind of say like a little line, and then maybe write it down, and then talk, and then be sad, and then have a drink. And then it was like, wow, this entire song just came together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, in the realm of like features or working with other people on a songs, I come from like more of a hip hop background, so it's like kind of you just send a beat to someone, they send you something, and then you work on it. For that, you worked with someone right there, so you're generating this project together. Do you kind of find some ease in that because of the fact that you're not like sending stuff over, or is it a little like you feel rushed to finish something right away, or is it something where you kind of develop it over time?
What's really excuse me, what's really, really great about being right there as it's happening, because what he would do, I keep hitting
No,
this,
it's
sorry.
all good. It's all good.
What he would do is, he would create a beat, he would send it to me, do you like this, and whatnot. And initially it would be a yes or no answer, because I can already hear it if I feel it, if that's something I could sing over. So it would happen that way, where he would just send it to me. But then when we were in the studio, we would talk, okay, I don't like this sound, or I don't like that sound. And that's really great, because I think it made it mine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a part of all of it, I guess, from start to finish.
Okay. And then as far as like the other songs, so we kind of jumped into One Drink and Circles. As far as the other two, well, he's on Back and Forth. Okay, so was that kind of like in the midst of it too? Did that come after Circles?
That came after One Drink, actually.
Okay.
And
That's
that
my favorite. On
yeah,
the
I
EP,
know.
by the
I think
way.
you said. Why is it your favorite?
I like the back and forth again. It's just a good melody. I love that melody that you come up with.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was a song that he had started to write, And I think we were supposed to work on a different project when I was in the studio with him. And he's like, oh, I have this, let me show it to you. And he plays the guitar, and it was another thing, we were just hanging out. And then I was like, I really like that. And then I was telling him what I was interpreting from the first verse, which is what he wrote. And I was like, what if we write it like from your point of view and from my point of view? So that's how it kind of transpired. Second verse I wrote, and then I wrote like the bridge. So it's kind of like, okay, so what is this? Like, what is the message you're trying to get across? Like, we just keep going back and forth, you know, like the feelings like you meet somebody and is it serious? Is it not serious? It's complicated, whatever. And that's why one of the lyrics is like, we should have just left it at a one night stand, you know, no calls, no see you again, because now we're just.
No calls, no see you again.
Sam's like getting
so
into this.
good.
You should have been the one to sing that.
Like, I wish I could have been there when you guys were like humming this all out. Like, it sounds great.
When I tell you we were in the car and Sab was like really getting into it, he's like, you need to listen to it. And I was like, I'm listening, man.
As he's grabbing your hand.
Yeah, he's grabbing my hand. Why are we in this parking lot, Sab? Okay, so then what about Complications?
Oh, Complications was just a fun one. There was a Maroon 5 song that a friend of mine had showed me. Oh my gosh, I wish I could remember it or the name of it. But I listened to it and I'm like, oh my God, this is just so sexy. Like, I want to make a song like this. And that's what Complications was. Literally, it was, and I told him that. I was like, I want to make a more sexy song, feels good. And he kind of came up with that. And then, actually, we don't even call it Complicated. We call it the sex song because that's how it started. Yeah. There's no story behind that one.
No, I was like,
Not
damn,
really.
Lou's getting straight to the point.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was my favorite. So as far as like that feature though, you have a different. Is it Carrie? I don't know.
Yeah, Carrie Pumps.
Carrie Pumps. Okay.
Yeah, so he's a friend of Michael's, and I guess they've done work together before. And with the style song it was, he was like, Michael was saying we should try to get somebody to come in here. And we did. And that was actually, I loved working with Carrie. He was amazing. It was the first time I've actually like worked with a rapper. But he comes in, and this man, he's like, literally, it was like, so when you're recording, you have the headphones in so you can hear yourself, right? Carrie doesn't want to hear himself. He comes in and he's like, I don't want to hear it because then I'm going to be focused on how I sound, not like in the, I guess, like feeling it
in the moment.
the moment.
Yeah.
And he was like freestyling, like and a lot of it I think is freestyle.
Okay.
A lot of his verse, because he had a couple lines written down and then he was just kind of going with it. That was just, I think that one was just fun. There might be some inspiration, you know, but
Yeah. But did you like is that like a completely different aspect of features? Because the fact that he was bringing some kind of different collaborative vibe compared to Michael, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you get like, is it something where it was kind of like a breath of fresh air? I mean, you're still relatively new into songwriting, correct?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just I like, so when people, you know, like people will ask you, I mean anybody, oh, what type of music do you listen to, or what's your favorite genre of music? It's really hard to say, oh, I absolutely love like hip hop, or unless you're a country fan, I think is the only time that.
Yeah.
Sorry, country fans, but anyways, what I like about it is that it kind of, because of the different features, it's different styles that I like personally. You know what I mean? So I do like the hip hop side, and I do like, I don't even know what genre you would put back and forth into. I don't know.
It's like a feel good song.
Yeah, that's not get too technical. It's just
It's
just a good song.
That's what I was saying, is because it doesn't seem, I guess I'm making it a little more confusing. The songs don't seem like they're separate. They seem like they flow together really well. So it doesn't seem like it's...
Which is pretty cool to do that. Cool to see that you did that with 4 songs. You know what I mean? So I'm actually excited to see what happens when you make a full-length album. Like, I think being able to create that fluid flow with just a short amount is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess because from my experience with like a lot of EPs, it's always like one song is going to be destined to be like a single, when all of 4 of these can technically be a single. I guess they're so well structured together as well as apart that it doesn't seem like they they need to be, one's better than the other. They're all kind of flow together really well.
Yeah.
It's like a compliment, I guess.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
don't
an
know.
amazing compliment.
Are you a DJ?
So as far as
Thanks.
inspirations, you talked about Amy Winehouse and even like Maroon 5. What kind of, as far as like the, not just for this EP in general, but what inspirations do you draw from?
So Amy Winehouse is like my heart. So is Adele, and I do like Maroon 5. I like their older stuff better. Adele, I also like her older stuff. I like her new stuff, but I was listening to her before she even hit the States. And what I love about her is that she writes all of her own music too. Obviously she has an incredible voice.
Yeah.
But if you listen to her songs, they're very like straightforward. There's not like any heavy metaphors. There's not anything like that. It's pure storytelling, which is, I think it's hard to tell an entire story into a 3-minute song. So I think that's an art in itself. And then Amy Winehouse I just think she's a musical goddess, I guess. Right now, it's a mix of everything. It is literally a mix of everything. If you are in the car with me and you're going through shuffle, I have a lot of European friends. I have friends from like everywhere. Yeah. So it's Spanish music, it's hip hop music, it's old school rap. We were listening to NWA actually, like riding over here.
That's why she slammed the door. She was like,
I was in that mood, yeah. And I'm paying a lot more attention to the production side of songs now, just because right now with my team, we're in the process of like, we're working on a whole nother EP and then 2 albums to follow.
Nice.
So a lot of projects, and I have a lot of artistic control in that, obviously, which is really awesome. So I can't say that I have one specific like person or genre that I'm pulling my inspiration from. It's a little mix of everything where you're Albanian and you show me Albanian music and I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Did you hear that little, like, it's like an uppity poppy beat, but then in the background there's that ding ding ding, like a piano or something, and just a mix of things, really.
Do you want to introduce? She's like, yes. I agree.
So she looked really cold outside. This is one of my best friends, Arlinda.
Hi guys.
Oh, okay.
Thanks
I just
for
wanted to,
having me.
because you were like the whole time I was like, and then she's like, like this.
I'm just here for support.
Just for moral support. That's what Ulysses is always here for too.
He's our moral support.
He's our moral support. Okay, so go into, as far as sorry, I don't mean to like sidetrack it. For this project, when did you feel ready to move on to the next one? Was it immediately, or was it something where you kind of, because you're still in the process of like performing these songs, you're, because of you being newer to, performing too as well, at least like this project, you're still trying to develop like those songs, stage presence and the motion of it, moving around stage. When do you feel like, okay, I'm done with this project, now I want to work on the next one?
I'm starting to work on the next one right now. It's kind of just.
But was it like immediately, or did you? Okay.
Yeah, because so my and I think a lot of people think this. There's this saying, like when you get too comfortable, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So before I even released the EP, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this. What is going to happen after? Because like you're building a buzz for yourself, kind of, and sharing your music. But once people hear it, it's like, okay, cool, I heard it, and then. Unless, you're extremely established. But I was kind of just trying to I wanted to like do a music video. I was already like thinking about all of that. So right now, as I am, still performing these songs and I guess making them a little bit more known, I am already in the process of thinking, what is the next thing? Like, it's kind of like the behind scenes. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
No,
do you get what
it
I'm
makes
saying?
sense. Yeah.
So,
I think it's also because like a lot of artists that sometimes they'll bang on, like they'll bet on, oh, this is going to be a hit. This is going to be the greatest thing. And then they don't prepare for the follow up. And that's kind of like where I like seeing or hearing you talk about that, where it's like, I love this project. This is like something dear to me, but I also want to make sure that I have something strong to follow up with. So it doesn't fall flat on his face when people are like, hey, what do you have next? and you have nothing. You have nothing in the pipeline or anything like that.
No, and I feel like you should always be thinking like 5 steps ahead, like whether it's in music or your career, no matter what it is, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just how I work. So it's.
Do you draw inspiration from like your environments as well too? So you said you're from Delaware, but now you're in Chicago. Is there a city that's next on your list that you want to just submerge into?
No.
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 You like Chicago?
I
more
love
than,
Chicago,
yeah.
I think. So I've been here for about 5 years.
Okay.
And Delaware is always going to be home just because that's where I grew up, you know. But I think here, I would say there's a little bit more opportunity. There, it's I always called it like the small, big town state,
Right.
if that makes sense.
I get it.
Everybody knows everybody, you know. There's really like, you kind of just, you're right here. It's very like, that's as far as you're gonna go, really.
Okay.
And it's not downing them. That's just how it is. I think anybody from a small town, that's how it works. Here in Chicago, there's just so many people from so many different places, interested in so many different things, wanting to go like so many different directions. And I'm still learning about the city, and from what I've learned and the people I've met and the things I've experienced, I love it. Like this is home, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think even with shows and stuff too as well, you always get from out of towners coming here. So you'll get introduced, at least your name and your product and your music, your brand, whatever it may be, will be introduced, I guess, more frequent to people because of the fact that this is such a well-traveled city.
Yeah.
Not just like it's big, but it's also well-traveled.
We have a lot of culture and a lot of just awesome people. Like I'm proud to be here.
Yeah. Perform.
How'd your show go? Saturday.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was actually my first live show. So I'm just like getting started with the live performances too. It was so much fun. It was like, and honestly, I feel like the reason why I loved it, because it was nervous, you know, it was nerve-wracking.
Right.
But I had like all of my favorite people in one room, and that I'm so grateful, because I didn't expect, you know, when I was making it, it wasn't, my end goal was not, I mean, yes, everyone wants to be successful, but it was for fun. This entire EP was for fun. It was purely for fun. I wasn't like thinking, oh my God, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to pursue music 100%. Right. But when I released it, and the support and that I received from people I knew, people I didn't know, was just so overwhelmingly like amazing. That I was like, wow, okay, like if they believe in me, I can believe in myself, and like I can continue, you know. But everybody who showed up, like that made it for me, literally. The people that were there made it. Yeah. So
that was your first the show that we were actually going to go to it. It was based on the EP, right?
Yeah.
Correct. That was your first live show. I thought you've done.
I've sang live before.
Okay,
but it wasn't
so that's what I
my
meant,
music.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't. That was like my first for me, you know, for my EP.
That's one hell of a way to introduce yourself. It's like, this is my first show and my first like legit based on your project. That's like your project release, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't the release. It was released like.
But it's the first time you've done those songs.
Yeah, live.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
I don't mean like the release of it where you introduce it, but like kind of like your first time doing all those songs. Yeah. Essentially live. How were you like nervous or anxious?
I was, of course, but like I said, I feel like the emotion or feeling of just being so happy, like I felt so loved, you know, and I was just I sound so corny probably saying this, but I was just extremely excited and happy to see all of my best friends in one room, and just how like genuinely happy they were for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that literally made my night. Like honestly, she showed up late. She like had to leave. Sorry, it wasn't a bad thing. It was actually, there's a video where I saw her in the crowd, and I didn't mess up the song, but I kind of like stopped singing because I see her, and I was like, oh my God, she made it. And we were like singing to each other. It was her favorite song on the track.
Circles, that's why they were
I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah. But I mean, and then I had other friends who surprised me, and I didn't even know they were coming, you know, and I was like, you're here? Like, oh my gosh, you know? I don't know. It was really awesome.
So how is the process of the new project coming together?
Right now, we're still talking to a lot of different producers
Okay.
from all over Atlanta, LA, even here in Chicago. And we've kind of narrowed it down a little bit to a few that we like, but we're being extremely picky about everything because it's, it's like music. It's a, like, we don't have to rush. You know what I mean? There's no
right.
time frame in anything. We're doing this because we love it. I'm doing this because I love it. So it's, to work with really, really good people and finding those good people, it takes a little bit of time. So we have some songs that we've written. We have some demos that we've made, but still kind of a searching process.
Yeah.
Do you know how long you want to have it? Like, as far as, is it going to be another 4-track? Is it going to be?
I think for the next one, I think we're going to make another EP with a couple different styles, working with a few different producers. So it might be 5 or 6 songs. And then following that, we still have like 2 full albums that
Do
we
you
want
have
to release.
a name in mind for the new EP?
Like the title?
Yeah, if you can speak on that. If not, it's okay, but this would be like your first announcement.
I
of
would
it.
say, like, I don't know, hold that thought, maybe.
Hold that thought.
Maybe.
Wink, wink. Is that
Wink.
that's the title? Yeah.
I don't know.
Hold that thought.
She's like, delete that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as, like, because we talked about how this EP was drawn from like a breakup and everything, considering you're in a better space now, how is it sounding, do you think, in your head, as far as like the few tracks that you have right now and the collaborations? How do you think where are you drawing this inspiration from now?
The makeup? No, we're not getting back together. I'm thinking on the songs that are written right now, and yeah, it's.
Is it like imagining riding a bike along the beach? Like, is that like the happiness that you're?
Where is that going?
I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to imagine.
He's like,
like
you got ice cream and like balloons.
Like the first part, obviously, like the going through a heartbreak is very emotional. Like in this stage, is it more like just outside fun sunlight type?
So like,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it's not. I mean, I feel like when you describe that, I think of like, who is it? Natasha Bedingfield, Pocket Full of Sunshine.
That's exactly what's going through my mind.
Right? That's not really my genre, but as happy as she is singing that song, it might be like that. Or I could say it's still along, the bluesy soulful songs, but it is more happy, I guess. It's more happy.
Okay.
It's not proper. Okay. It is happier. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's like, good morning.
I got my bike.
I got my tea.
Is it more of like considering like Amy Winehouse is like more of like a Valerie type?
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess you could say. I mean, it's not exactly like that. If you listen to, so like Etta James, she has a song called Sunday Kind of Love, I think. And it's like, so it's a love song, but it's really slow. And it's like, the lyrics are, I want a Sunday kind of love. So like, not waking up on Saturday morning, but waking up on Sunday morning, because it's like.
Yeah, the vibe of Sunday.
So this is like, I love myself, ready for love.
Oh God.
No, okay.
Oh God.
Sab's like, I need you to make that for me, because that's how I'm feeling right now.
I don't know.
We can work on my EP. Yeah.
I love myself.
Yeah.
I am ready.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously that's kind of where, because it's exciting because of, he's like, here's a picture of my bike. It's exciting because the fact that this, I mean, I don't see so much of like a heartbreak in this one, but I do see emotion and raw emotion.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like Adele, like the 21,
Yeah.
that was so heartbreaking that even if you weren't going through something, you were like, man, I want to go through something.
I
Right?
I recently listened to Sam Smith's album.
That one too, Lonely Hour.
Oh my God, man, that was such an emotional ride.
And then
It's so good.
somewhat hard if they try to make an album where they may not be going through anything. That's why I'm saying, is it something where you're drawing from a painful experience now, or are you drawing from a more happier experience, a more like, I feel I'm in a good space?
Yeah, I think, I mean, so with especially those type of artists, those they write a lot of their own stuff. You know what I mean? They're not just your next pop artist where they, I don't know, they give them lyrics and then they sing some really, really catchy hook. So that's why you're saying, like, and I completely understand that they release this really, really emotional stuff because it is very personal.
Yeah.
And then to go, you know, into a more poppy song, I guess you could say, or happier, it's kind of weird. But like right now, I guess, yeah, I am drawing from happier things.
Yeah.
But it's, I'm honestly, I'm just trying to think of the songs that I already have written. It's, I guess, maybe a combination of both because it's,
Reminiscing.
yeah, but it's not just about the relationship. It's more just kind of like looking back at my life in general.
Okay.
Other things, maybe other relationships I've been in, but not exactly, oh my gosh, it's all going to be about love. It might sound like a love song, but that's not exactly why it was written or who it was for, I guess. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so as far as like this project, do you have individuals write with you, or do you like only writing your own stuff? Because you, like you just mentioned, there's sometimes where artists will write their own things, like Adele, like 19 to 21. Those are very like similar. You could say the same sounds, and it almost on this next one, it seems like some people kind of have a little bit of, you know, their hand was on the pencil too as well.
Yeah.
Are you opposed to that, or is it
Not
something?
at all.
No?
Not at all. Actually, I want.
Good, because I got a couple lines.
Please. When we're done.
Yeah.
No, not at
They're
all.
all about Lou.
But
You don't appreciate
riding
me.
bikes on the beach.
You don't like my bike idea.
Why doesn't he like that?
But I mean, is that something where, how does that process happen? I mean, because like in hip hop, I always speak from like, because I don't know anything about
Yeah, no
the singing,
problem.
but like in the hip hop realm, that's like frowned upon. In the singing, like as far as like R&B and everything like that, that's actually welcomed.
Yeah.
You know, it's very like, let's work together and make like this beautiful song together. So how do you welcome that in? Like, how do you bring someone in? Do they kind of give you a full structure for some of these songs? It's like for the songs that you already have done, are there some that you've worked with somebody as far as on the writing process?
Yeah. So the producer friend that I have, everything was co-written with him.
Okay.
And what's really awesome about that is we had a friendship. It wasn't just work. You know what I mean? So I was able to talk to him as I would my friend, you know, a good friend, and tell him everything that was kind of going on. And from that's how we were able to, I guess, like work on stuff. So I guess to answer your question, I guess when finding other songwriters, I want to be able to connect with that person on some type of level, not just coming in and, you know, let's write a couple lines about riding bikes. Just kidding.
That's gonna be the name of the episode, man. It's like random. But that's kind of how it is. Is it something where somebody's brought you an idea? Have you worked with anybody else aside from Michael on it, as far as like
on
bringing
this,
in?
no.
I mean the next project, like the
next
few
ones,
songs, or all
the
you.
songs I've written them all. But I want to, because like you were saying before, I'm just starting as a songwriter, I guess, you know. So I want to, one, learn, and then two, if somebody else can perfect or make this song a little bit better, you know, or give me ideas that I didn't have before, I'm completely open to that.
Okay.
How do you, it's kind of random but still related, how do you train your vocals? Like, do you have scheduled practices, or do you have a coach? Like, what's your routine around that?
Yeah, so I do, and that's also a new thing. When things were starting to roll a little bit more, I was like, okay, well, I should probably, you know, it's my instrument, right?
It's your muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my, like, it's like, if you're a carpenter, you have a hammer, make sure you get
It's
a
your
good
sport.
hammer. It's my, yeah, exactly. So I found a vocal coach, but it was the first vocal coach I've ever had.
Yeah.
So what's really great about it is that she teaches me classically.
Did you have a vocal coach for Feeling Red? That's really impressive.
Thank you.
Did you
No.
go in there and she's like, I should be paying you?
Yeah.
Because she heard your voice.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's very technical, and there's a lot of technical things that I've learned about your vocal cords, you know? So, for example, you can hear somebody belt and it sounds like, or this person's a really, really good singer from the perspective of a vocal coach. they would probably tell you, okay, yeah, that sounds good, but they don't have a healthy voice. So, and what she's teaching me right now, it's not necessarily how to sing. It's how to sustain, you know, how to be able to like carry those notes and be able to sing for long periods of time without like straining,
Yeah.
right? So when you're belting, it shouldn't be hard. If you're doing it the correct way, if you're using your voice the correct way, it's not going to hurt you. You're not going to be tired at the end. So that's really, really awesome. And since going to see her singing, you know, whatever, just practicing, I do notice a difference. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Also preparing you for essentially, I mean, ideally, if you're projecting down the line
Yeah.
for a tour
Yes.
or
Yeah.
for several shows, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to wear out
Mm-hmm.
your voice, and being able to like not only get assistance on how to perform so you're not wrecking your voice, but also how to take care of it so that if you do get like sick or, you know, certain things, how to better assess that situation.
Exactly. Yep.
And so what was the like the hardest part of that whole experience? Because now you're also someone's telling you, yeah, you're doing this wrong, and you're kind of it's kind of like we're trying to reverse a habit that you've already had,
Yeah.
right? I'm assuming you.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes. I guess I could say yes. So when you're being taught classically, it's like that's where, you know, the altos and sopranos and stuff like that. So I'm singing in soprano, which is not how I would sing. It's not how I'm singing. And do you know what that is?
Somewhat.
Like,
I mean,
you know how opera singers sing?
Yeah.
So it's like that. That's what my vocal lessons are like. I'm singing in that tone, I guess, which is just uncomfortable because that's not how I normally sing, you know? So I think I sound bad, but she's like, no, that sounds clear. Did you hear how strong that really high note sounded? And then because I'm practicing with those, when I sing normally, it's stronger. Like I don't know how to explain it.
It's a little bit more of
yeah.
ease, right? Because you're not like, you're not projecting as much. It's more of like coming from.
But if you're able to project on those really soft, like almost like falsetto notes, then if you're able to project those, when you go to project the bigger, I guess, sounds or like the normal, how I would normally sing, it's a lot more, you know, it's a lot stronger. It's a lot clearer. And it's more comfortable for me, you know?
Yeah. And so this was in between both projects, the project that's coming in this one, right?
No, the vocal lessons, is brand new.
Wow.
But I mean, like this project's done. You went to her after you finished this project.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this next one, it may actually sound a little bit different when you record it.
I hope so. I hope it sounds better. I hope I'm a stronger singer. Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of like just back notes. What did you already go to her several times before your first show?
I think like twice.
Okay.
So it's still very brand new, you know?
Okay.
How was that feeling of, like, I don't know if you've done like stage shows before, but were you like practicing, like when you're doing rehearsals, you're like, I should say this word and do this with my arm,
about it.
or like, you know what I mean, like trying to get some like
Yeah.
choreography or anything involved with it.
So in the rehearsals, I was nervous in the rehearsals, and it was like literally my friend who played Carson Elliott, who played piano for me, and then my producer friend Michael Shaw. We were at his house, and I think one of his roommates was there, and it was so intimidating for me because you have one guy sitting all the way over there, and he's like staring at me the entire time we're singing, and he was the judge, and I was like, okay, well, tell me what you think. But I was so nervous. So I did have in my mind, I'm gonna try to talk to the audience and say this or do this or that. During rehearsals, I didn't. Maybe at my house I did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Just
whole,
more comfortable.
right?
Yeah.
Like by myself. But then at the show, whatever you practice is gone, because it's like in the moment you're kind of just going with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there from that first show, is there anything that you technically, obviously you said you've sang before on stage, but from that first one, is there anything, other elements that you see now you want to kind of bring into it? Maybe like, do you know how to play instruments at all?
Mm-mm.
Do you kind of want to learn a specific one maybe down the line to assist you with bringing a little bit of a different approach to your show?
Yeah, I would love to learn how to play piano or guitar. Like, you know, I say I don't know how to play because I couldn't play a whole song. You know, everybody I think knows a little riff or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, piano.
And then as far as like your shows in general, like aside from an instrument element, is there something else that you kind of think you want to bring into it? Maybe choreographing, like dancing or whatever it
Some
is.
visuals maybe.
Yeah, visuals.
Maybe visuals. I honestly have not thought about that in particular. I really like
We'll have our people call your people.
Yeah. I'm the people. I can make you clouds. Yeah.
I haven't thought about that. I really like for all of my shows, I definitely want live music.
Yeah.
I definitely want a band.
Right here. The three amigos.
That's all it is. I don't know how to play nothing. Back to the clouds.
Could be the triangle guy.
Yeah.
Somebody's got the tambourine.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I mean is that there's different, once you do a show and then another show and another show, you want to add different elements to it. You want to add like, okay, that's cool. I seen this person bring certain lights that will bring more emotion to maybe my storage, my stage presence. So that's kind of why I asked that. Is there something that, like maybe attire, like outfits or something like that will kind of separate you from anyone else? Is that something you kind of think of too as well? Maybe like. Yeah,
I do, about like what type of image I want to portray. I've definitely thought about that. From this last show, ear monitors.
Yeah. That's
probably the number one thing because I could not hear myself. So it wasn't, I can't say it was my strongest like vocal performance, but like I said, I was so so full of happiness just because it was the first time. Yeah. And all of the support that I was getting from all of my friends, and that like made it for me. So I was so happy. And if you look at the videos, I was just happy because I was seeing like everybody up front, they were right there smiling and cheering me on. And but for the future, I want ear monitors because that sucks.
Like the custom ones that go into
so you can hear yourself, because it's like if you like cover your ears and you try to scream and you won't be able to hear yourself scream.
Yeah.
So it's exactly like that. And when you're singing, you want to be able to hear how you sound. So.
Yeah. No, those make a ton of. Have you ever tried those?
No, I haven't.
I've had those in there. They're like, I mean, they're custom, so they weren't really fitting for my ear, but they make a world of a difference. Just because like the monitor, like you said, if you don't have a monitor that's in front of you,
right, exactly,
even the beat alone, you get washed in it. You're not really following it and whatever it may be. So if you have that, you can kind of like go along with it. You stay on key too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about because I know you were talking about that before, and I was like, save it for the podcast. The album artwork.
Yeah. So this actually wasn't supposed to be the cover of it.
Okay.
I worked with another friend who took some photos for me, and when we had set that up, I was like, oh my gosh, we're like having a photo shoot. I'm gonna go do my hair. I'm gonna get my makeup done. I ordered like a dress, and had this whole like kind of took it a little bit more seriously than it really needed to be. But it was the first time, and it was the first time I'm releasing my music, so I wanted to present myself the best I could.
Yeah.
When the photos came back, absolutely beautiful. He did an amazing job. But I looked at it and I'm like, for the music that I'm releasing, for what the message that I'm trying to send to people, it doesn't really match because I have full face of makeup on, this bright red dress. Like it wasn't how I felt. Like it just didn't match, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So I was recommended another photographer who was by another friend. And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like I can shoot you. He's like, but I don't have a studio. The last one, with the other guy, we were in a field, like in a park, and it was very, very like beautiful pictures. He's like, I don't have a studio. I was like, okay, that's fine. We can just do it at my apartment. So he comes over, and literally, I was late to my own photo shoot at my apartment.
At your own place.
At my own place. Like, how does that happen? It was because I think I was like grocery shopping or something, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna be there in like 30 minutes. I'm like, shit. Like, I didn't do my hair. I'm not ready. I have no idea what I was gonna wear. And it was funny because a lot of my friends, even my mom, like they were asking, so what are you gonna wear? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, you know what? I am just not even gonna think about it, because when you try to plan something too much and you have all these expectations, I think it just turns out worse than it would have been if you didn't do that.
Right.
So I put on makeup like I normally would on a normal day, and I found a t-shirt in my room, like just out of nowhere. And it was because I wanted to give that, it's a little, I don't know what to call it, but
You just at the crib, just.
Yeah, and that's literally like a shirt I would wear at my house.
Yeah.
It's actually like ripped. I think it's cut. It's a cut t-shirt. And that was it.
What is
And-
this?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
What is this tattoo? What does it mean?
It's
I mean, I don't know if it mean like I can't read some of
it's
my
Roman.
contacts.
It's Roman numerals. About something.
Okay. I won't get into it. We talked about my contacts, so I'm like literally seeing like what is
Were you,
that,
like,
Morse
blinking?
code or something.
Yeah.
No,
No,
this it's yeah, it's a date that's special to me. But there's like a funny story that goes along with this.
Oh,
like when
okay.
I got this, a friend of mine was visiting from Philadelphia, and we were eating sushi, and anyways, and she's like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" Or I asked her, I was like, "What do you want to do today?" And she was like, "I don't know. You live here. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know. Do you want to go get a tattoo?"
Yeah.
And
And
then
then
just
we did.
randomly did
And
it.
then we just randomly did, and I picked something that I was like, what is important to me at this time and whatever. So
Yeah.
that's what I picked.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
I don't know what the other one's at. I couldn't find. Do you have the other one up, like the other photo shoot
It's
I
never released.
I
Yeah.
don't think I released it.
at all? No.
Mm-mm.
Would you ever consider about releasing it?
Yeah.
Maybe like
I mean, actually, on my Instagram page,
Okay.
Gracie and Red, some of the early snippets of some of the songs, there's a picture of me in a red dress, but I think it's just my back. It was that photo shoot.
I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah. You might have.
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
What does feeling red mean?
Yeah. That's good. Mhm.
She just gets up
She's
and
like, I knew
leaves.
you were gonna ask this.
What? I was like, oh, she just gets up and leaves, and she's like,
Oh,
no,
me?
no. Yeah.
I gotta go. All right, I'm head out.
I don't
We'll
fuck
fuck
with you. What is it? I mean, if you want to talk about it, of course,
Yeah, sure. So feeling so, oh my God, it's like weird. I'm probably like, it's kind of corny, but for some reason so you hear the saying feeling blue. When someone's feeling blue, they're like sad. And I came across that one day and decided to research like the psychology of colors. And when I came across red, it was saying that it was the most dynamic color, that it can represent all of these different emotions, right? Red can be a sign of anger, passion, love, excitement, everything. And I thought I really, it resonated with me because I'm like, that's kind of everything that I'm feeling right now in the process of writing this and everything that I was going through in my personal life. And it kind of stuck, you know? So it was kind of that roller coaster of emotion, and that's what that color represented to me.
Is that where the change of Gracie in red came from?
Yeah.
Like you were like, okay, that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I mean, I like the color red too, so
Yeah.
it kind of just stuck.
I had a feeling it came from the feeling blue, and then you're like, I'm feeling
Yeah?
red.
You're the first person who said that because
Yeah.
nobody's really caught on.
No, I never thought of feeling blue.
Mhm.
I just thought I was like, oh, there's got to be something to it, right? I mean, because there's no red in the.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why in the first photo shoot I wore a red dress.
Oh, so you
because-
had the title already for it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I had it, and then like I said, this was not planned. Like this picture was not planned.
I think that's good. It kind of embodies the album itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good. It only makes more sense.
It makes
No,
it
and-
intriguing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like it was very personal, and this is very much me. You know what I mean? It's who I am. It's not. It's very like, I guess, stripped back. So I think it fit a lot more.
Yeah.
So what's the plan for your New Year's coming up? Like as far as like, not just the project, do you have like a release date for it? Is there another show in the works that you
Yeah.
want to talk about?
Yeah, so we have a couple, I guess they're smaller like festivals that we've been talking about with the facilitators to do. And
Nice.
those are a little bit bigger, both
Yeah.
in the States, and then another one actually out of the country.
Let's go. Catching
When do-
flights.
when do we go?
Catch feelings, catch flights.
But all still very preliminary. So the fact that it's even being discussed,
Yeah.
it's all honestly just I don't know how to explain it. Like, I just feel so grateful, and I'm so excited. Like, whether it happens or not, I'm just so excited and like thankful that it's even being a topic of discussion, that they're even considering me, you know? Because like I said, when I started this, it was a passion project. That's all it was.
Yeah.
It still is. It's just, you know what they say, like, you're chasing happiness, everything else kind of like just comes. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're still along that. As far as release dates, we don't have any. We are getting to work like in studios and whatnot mid-December. We're finalizing our list of producers.
Yeah.
We already have some, like we have a demo out. Well, not out, but recorded. Songs written and whatnot. So, and then next year, I mean, I want to do more shows. We have those. We're definitely talking about them. So, I don't know.
Maybe we'll just do a show, Sab. We'll have you on.
Yeah. You could do a singing set.
No, I mean like we have a show and like don't put me involved. We have a show and then we'll have her as a performer.
100%. I would love that.
Yeah, we talked about it already.
Yeah. I thought about it. I almost brought my keys guy.
Here,
I was
we
going to.
on our first season we actually had. Well, we're kind of getting away from the whole seasons thing, but on our first round of this, when we had our podcast in the city, we would do the interview and then we would do like a 1-song take of like I don't know if you've seen it, but they're on YouTube.
Actually.
Yeah. So
Nice.
we'll have you kind of go like do a song or whatever
Yeah.
it may be. If there's an artist, for our photographer Tim, we had him just do like a photo shoot with us.
Nice.
So we kind of want to get back into that. We're trying to figure out if we can do it here. Obviously that sunroom would be ideal because that'd be cool to have all that
would
light
be
in
good.
there.
And have her sit by the fire.
Yeah,
With the
and
fire
sing.
behind her.
Just like
You're so, I love
just-
riding bikes on the beach with
I
ice
know.
cream, sit by the fire.
He's just a little wild when you come down. Yeah, so that's kind of exciting. Do you know exactly where overseas you said?
I do, but we're gonna.
Yeah, but what about over here?
And the hush hush.
Yeah, that too. But I don't wanna jinx anything.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
all something that's kind of in the works.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, you good, Sam?
Yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything that people don't know about you or something you got going on that you're excited about, maybe even outside of music?
No, music is life.
Music is
Gotta
everything.
Music is
Let's
everything.
only talk
Yeah.
about music.
Yeah.
You got any puppies in your life? Any dogs? Wait, are you a dog person or a
He's
cat
so,
person?
he's so rich.
No.
You know what? I would guess. What do you think? Actually, no. You might know because
because you were so hesitant about dogs. I think you're a cat person.
no. What do you think?
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. How'd you know?
Everybody loves
Yeah.
Baby Yoda. What do you want me to like?
Like, do you think I'm a dog person or a cat person?
Cat.
Cat.
Do you think she's a dog person or a
She's
cat
a dog.
person?
Dog, but that's because I've seen
Her dog.
Yeah, her dog.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows my dog.
I am a cat person, but I
Okay.
do love dogs. But wait, why do you think I'm a cat person?
I got senses.
Yeah. We got cats.
I'm good at reading people.
Yeah.
You told him you're on your own.
No, I didn't. Did you?
Oh,
You did. You
wow.
said
With
it.
like the crazy cat lady?
No, I didn't.
No,
I'm,
no,
really,
you
I'm
never
like
said that.
legitimately.
That was straight
Wow.
intuition.
No,
Straight
because
invitation.
usually when people think that dog people are nicer. So I don't know what made you
No,
think
I've
I
met
was a-
some really, really nice cat people.
Yeah. Cat people.
I
are
hope
nice.
I made the list.
Do you have
That's
what
intuition.
kind of cat do you have?
I have a Siamese, and I have just like a black regular.
Siamese. Is that the one that's not like a naked one, right? Or that's not like.
No, it's the naked one.
Oh, it is.
The naked one's the naked one.
Oh, what's a Siamese cat then? What makes it a Siamese? Like.
They come in two. I don't know.
No, I'm asking her. Like, what makes it?
No, so they're gray.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They're really pretty, really
Okay.
smart cats.
I
But
thought about getting
white.
a cat.
I don't know. Oh my
I'm
god.
allergic.
I like
man.
animals in general. That's why I thought about getting a cat. You know, to get you out of here. No, but yeah. So, is there like particular reasons why you chose that? I'm saying you're a
Like
cat person, but
cats?
like, I mean, is that something that you just had when you were younger too?
No, I actually hated cats when I was younger. Like
Oh,
in
wow.
we had a lot of dogs growing up. Like and we had big dogs. So that's why I say I love your dog. But my first apartment, I wasn't allowed to have a dog. So I got a cat and then never told them. And then when I moved again, I got another cat. And they don't know.
Are they like
they
dogs?
don't. They won't know.
What?
Are your cats like dogs? Are they playful?
Yeah,
Like,
they are extremely. They have personalities. I feel like when anybody starts talking about their cats, they sound a little nuts. I don't know.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, Sab, talk about your dog.
I love my dog.
See, he talks
all
fine.
the time. Like, I don't. I feel so sad sometimes when I have to leave him because I'm like always out the house for like really extended times.
Get him another dog or get him a dog friend.
Well, we
That's what I
had
did with
one,
my dog.
and
I
then-
mean, my cat.
No, he had a companion. She passed away like last week. So he's just been like
Last
sad.
week you didn't even tell me this.
I know, man. Sorry, guys. I've been in a really like depressive state.
Oh my god.
But I've just been on the low about it. Yeah.
That's
No.
real. That's hard.
Yeah, it was hard. So I'm just seeing it in him too. And he's like looking for her, and I'm like, so I'm just
You gotta
trying
get
to.
another one.
I know. I try to hug him as much as I can.
Oh, you should have brought him here today.
Yeah, I know. He's a great guy.
Just
But enough about me.
we'll just end it on that note. All right, so yeah, we'll wrap it up. In that camera right there, just go ahead. I'll add your Instagram and everything like that too. Just say which one, obviously, you would like for me to reference.
Yeah.
But in that camera, just once again say your name and just where they can find you at. I guess
Okay.
as far as Twitter, Facebook, whatever.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Gracie. Thank you so much for having me. You can follow me at Gracie in Red on Instagram.
Perfect.
That's
Sam,
nice. Yep. This is Radio Rejekts.
we're out.
We're out.
Deuces.